Hey, I'm Dylan Sprayberry. I play Liam Dunbar in Teen Wolf, and you are at FrConventions. The first day, we filmed from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., so we did a night shoot. I was like 16 years old, and my dad took me to work because I was still a kid. And that was my first night was the night we did the scene where Scott bites me when I get knocked off the roof of like the hospital or somewhere. I get knocked off the roof and he has to bite me, and then he turns me into a werewolf. And so yeah, I remember pretty much filming that, and I remember that they were handing out chocolate chip cookies, and that was a big deal. It was like on the set of Teen Wolf, they made these chocolate chip cookies that were out of this world. So I remember those few things. It was fun though, but I was definitely tired afterwards. Cookies was a nice balance. Yeah, definitely. I got to meet Tyler Posey and Dylan O'Brien before I started shooting, because when I auditioned for Liam, I read a couple of scenes with them, because the producers and Jeff Davis, they wanted to see how we all, work together. And so I kind of already got to know them, and they're the two, leads of the show, so they made me feel really welcome. So I think by the time I got onto set, I was already kind of felt like I was starting to get to know everyone and felt pretty comfortable. Yeah, I really enjoyed Hayden and Liam's relationship. It was really fun and it was really sweet. I like the kind of like young, like we really didn't like each other at first, and it had been like a long time of kind of bad blood, and then we, fell in love with each other. I thought that was a cool way for us to kind of intertwine. And Victoria's an amazing person and a great actress, and so it was never difficult to work with her, and we always had a lot of fun, and she fit right in with everybody, so it was always a great time. Simply put, like the brotherhood of the relationship was really nice. I think in terms of where Liam started in the show, obviously he had a good family, but I think in terms of his social life and school, and coming from this private school where no one really liked him, he didn't really have anyone, and he's also an only child, so he didn't have any siblings. Kind of no one really to like relate to, especially going through all of his issues with anger management and all these different things. He just didn't really have anyone to kind of have that relationship with, and so Scott coming in, and that's kind of like a funny thing about life. Sometimes the bad things that happen end up teaching you a lot of really good lessons. And so I kind of feel like, in the sense of the show, it's like he got bit by a werewolf and turned into a werewolf, and now all of his problems are even worse, but in a sense he got introduced to all these people, and Scott being the main one that kind of helped him heal and find himself and become more of a balanced young man. I would say that Tyler and I are definitely more goofy than like Scott and Liam in terms of the show, but it's a TV show where we just have a lot of fun, and it's always been like that since the day we met. We got along, and we both love the same type of music, and we're both into skateboarding and playing music and all that kind of stuff. So it was really easy to get along and become really close. Yeah, I think, I can only speculate so much because I really leave a lot of those decisions up to the writers. Because, I think in terms of every project, you have your place. You know, like I've written on projects and I've directed some things and I've also just acted in things. And so in terms of Teen Wolf, I'm very much so just there to serve what Jeff and the writers have created for me as that character, and I really trust them to kind of guide me as to, obviously I make some personal decisions and acting choices, but in terms of the overall direction of the characters and how they feel about things, I leave a lot of that up to the writers. But I mean, yeah, of course, I think Liam is always proud of whatever Scott does, and because he knows that Scott is a good-hearted person, and even if he maybe doesn't even make the right decision, he's always trying to do what's best for everybody. I also do kind of feel like, obviously Liam would take on that role, but I think he'd be a little nervous, because even though he's grown a lot, I still feel like at that point he had a lot of doubts in himself still, because he was just kind of getting out of all of this, all of these issues. Yeah, that was a really fun duo. I love Cody Christian as well. He's a great person and a really amazing actor. I think the fun thing about that duo is that you could really see how much fun we were having offset and like in our personal lives, kind of bleeding into the show. Just like the energy of how much fun we had being together. Even though a lot of the time in the show we kind of didn't like each other, just the kind of energy of us really enjoying what we were doing kind of shines through. And I like that kind of fun back and forth. Like we're always butting heads and we both think we're right and just always kind of snapping back at each other. It's a really cute kind of thing. I mean, it was a lot of fun, I would love to do more because I feel like there's so much more story to tell, because we skipped 15 years. So I feel like, whether or not we do, that's not up to me, but I feel like there's a lot more we could tell in terms of all the characters and what they've been through. I really enjoyed playing this kind of more or less grounded version of Liam, kind of a little bit more serious, and I also kind of made the decision in terms of my acting choices that, the whole movie starts off essentially with the villain coming to Japan where Liam and Hikari live and stealing from them, and Liam was supposed to be protecting this whole thing. It was kind of his job to make sure that didn't happen, and he kind of takes it upon himself to feel like this is my fault, I let this happen. So he has a lot of weight on his shoulders, so I kind of wanted to really play that through. And whether or not it was discussed in terms of dialogue, that's how I felt Liam would feel about that. It was like, that was my one job, was to make sure this didn't happen, and it did happen. So it was fun to play it like that. And I almost kind of feel like I was playing it a little bit how I played Liam at the very beginning, more or less. Because Liam was really serious and really angry at the very beginning, and then started to have more fun and became a little bit funnier and more relaxed, and then we're back to this kind of more intense version of him. So I had a good time doing it.